Hello and welcome to this Google Hangout where we're going to be talking about Manchester United's transfer targets for the summer, players that are coming in and coming out. I've got on me the United man Sati to talk about this. What main position do you see that we need to strengthen coming into the summer? I mean, there's a lot of talk about a lot of different players coming in and out, but I don't know where you see the main area we need to strengthen, which positions the most crucial to improve.
I think the obvious one for many fans to say is the defence because we haven't been leaking goals, but I think our defence is inexperience-wise isn't that experienced because when you look at our centre backs, you have got Phil Jones who's about 21, I think Chris Smalling who's about 23, and you got Luke Shaw who's 19 and Raphael's 24. That is probably going to be our back four, and you got Marcos Rojo, but he's injured and he's 24 as well, so we haven't got an experienced leader that we did have in Rio Ferdinand and Nemanja Vidic and Patrice Evra. We didn't have that now, so that's something we're lacking. Maybe players I'd like to see come in that position probably be Matt Hummels, maybe Rafael Varane. I know he's a bit young, but he's got the quality that makes up for that experience, and he has played in Champions League finals and that. So maybe Matt Hummels, Rafael Varane, players that just go out on the field and they will boss the game from the defence because when you've got Rooney as a captain, he's the one going up front and he can't really be able to control that defence. So I'd like to see an experienced leader brought in by Luba now in the summer.
Yeah, definitely. It seems that a lot of people want a good centre half to come in, from what I was seeing on Twitter, and also a decent right back to come in. Do you think we need to replace Raphael now? I mean, it seems that the time has come. I mean, he's had a shocking injury record in his 7 or 8 seasons he's been at the club. He's hardly featured in probably half the Premier League games that we've actually played. He's just non-stop injury after injury. I mean, it's also worrying that Luke Shaw's getting injuries, but obviously we've got cover there with Daley Blind, so that seems to be pretty sewn up. But it seems to me the right back is an issue and has been since really Gary Neville retired.
Yeah, definitely. I think when you look at our right back, I think we've got Raphael, Paddy McNair that can play there, on the odd occasion. And you got Antonio Valencia, which has probably been playing the most in right back this season. But for me, I don't really like Valencia. I think he's a player that is too predictable. You can see him just going down the line, and he'll cut in, and he won't use his left leg, and he'll just hit it low and hard across into the 6-yard box. That's what Valencia is. So I think we need something different and. By terms of Raphael, I like to see him playing, but he's like a Man United version of Abu Diaby. He's always injured. He never seems to get played, and it's frustrating because he had so much talent when he arrived, and him and his brother Fabio. I think Fabio plays for Cardiff, somewhere like that. He's gone his own way, so I think Raphael has to either say to Luvan how play me in these remaining fixtures and I will show you what I'm really about. But he did score a screaming for the under-21s, and I think if Raphael gets a run of games that Falcao was lacking in the earlier in the season, I think we can genuinely say Raphael can be a good right back for us. But for me, I want to see us getting maybe Dani Alves, but he is a bit old, so I'll probably go for Nathaniel Klein from Southampton. Also, a lot of talk about Seamus Coleman with about a 20-odd mil, but for me, I'd like to say Klein because he's young, he's playing for England in the senior squad, so he's English talent and he's a very good player.
Yeah, definitely. I would have at the start of the season probably gone for Coleman, but now it seems that Nathaniel Klein has come on leaps and bounds. But obviously, it's going to be a gamble because we've seen for Tottenham they've got Walker playing in their team, and he looked a quality player about a year ago, and then he got injured, and now I don't know really what's happened to him. When I saw him play against Manchester United the other week, he did not look the same player at all. So, and obviously the problem with Luke Shaw, he's been so injured this season, and at Southampton he was healthy for every single match last season, which it is a real concern, especially at that age, because he shouldn't really be getting too many injuries at only 19 years old. Obviously, we've got the problem of whether David De Gea stays or not. Do you think if he goes that we're going to have to get a goalkeeper from abroad or something? Because I personally don't know if Valdez would be up to the standard to play for Manchester United now. I mean, obviously he played for Barcelona for many years, but playing for Barcelona and playing in this Manchester United back four was completely different.
Yeah, but I think, if David Hare goes, it's been one of the most talking points around the whole of January, even in the summer, last summer, because he hasn't signed a new contract. For me, I would personally like to see him, stay for the rest of his career, but I don't think that'll happen. I think he will sign a new contract in summer, but I think he will go to Real Madrid when he hits about 26, 27. That's when he's peak of his career, and Real Madrid will, they can outbid whenever. This is the thing with Real Madrid. Whenever they want a player, there's always interest from them. They'll go scout them and then they buy him. There's no messing around like we have done. Other English clubs, there's no messing around. They'll go out and buy their man, like they did in the summer with James Rodriguez, Gareth Bale, Cristiano Ronaldo. They go out and buy their men. The thing is, I don't think David Hale would want to go to Real Madrid in the sense of would he want to do his boyhood club any shame? Because he was from Atletico Madrid, then he goes to Real Madrid. It would look a bit bad on him, but when money speaks, I think he will join him. But it's one of them ones. For me, Victor Valdes is a quality keeper, but when you're playing in a back four of PK, Puyol, Abidal, and Dani Alves, you've got nothing to worry about. So when you're playing against Chris Smalling, Phil Jones, obviously there's going to be worries. So I think Victor Valdes is good for rotation. The odd Capital Cup game, but we haven't really seen him that much this season. But for me, I would like to see there aren't many good goalkeepers, and it's a worry because if we do get rid of David Hare, who are we going to replace him with? And for me, I can't really think of one on the top of my head. There was last season ter Stegen, but he did go to Barcelona. For me, I just can't see a good enough keeper that can replace David De Gea because he's been probably a player of the season for a second season running, so it's going to be difficult to replace him.
Yeah, probably about the best goalkeeper out there is Hugo Lloris at Tottenham, I suppose, but even then he's not as good as David De Gea. I mean, as you said there, I mean, playing for Barcelona, Valdes, Barcelona keep the ball so well, and have had a better back four than we have. Well, especially now, anyway. Our back four has been shocking, and David Hare's come into some crucial saves this season. So, but we'll have to see what happens there. Personally, I've got my real doubts whether he's actually going to sign the new contract. I think he probably would have signed it by now, unless he's obviously waiting to see if we get the top four before whether to decide on it. Obviously, we've had issues with our midfield over the season, but it seems that now that we've got Herrera in there and Carrick in there, and we've got Daley Blind as well, so we have got some options in there. Obviously, Michael Carrick's not going to go on forever. Do you think we still need to bring another maybe central midfielder in, just for some cover there, or a player a bit more attacking, like a Paul Pogba type of player, just to play in there to really give us that edge? I mean, it is difficult to know because you'd have to drop one of the players out of our team. I know we probably will play more games next season, but if you brought Paul Pogba in, what would Herrera have to drop out or someone? I mean, it's a bit of a difficult scenario, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think Paul Pogba is a player which you wouldn't pay 70 million. That's the rumoured quoted fee for him. I wouldn't pay that personally. I'd rather go for a Vidal, maybe possibly. Marquisio, there's talk of him. But I think the only player that would really suit our midfield is Memphis Depay, because I think our central midfield's fine as long as Daley Blind comes out at left back. Yes, he's been doing well at left back, but I'd like to see Luke Shaw giving it. Then we've got Daley Blind, you've got Michael Carrick, been excellent this season. Herrera, Mata, if Fellaini can play there. So I think maybe another one centre midfielder, but I wouldn't go splashing the cash for one, because I believe that we've got the potential. Maybe in a couple of seasons' time, I'd probably go for a younger centre mid that's hungry for the game, because Michael Carrick will be past it by then. You've got Fellaini who will be hitting 29 or so, something like that. So I'd probably go for Memphis to pay a winger, a kind of maybe. I was going to say Marco Rodgers, but he did sign a new contract, which did get rid of his release clause, which I believe was 20 odd mil. So I think maybe now the Memphis to pay is a real good one, because he's Dutch, played with Louis van Gaal, and he's an absolute gem. He's young, he's fast, he's talented, and he's got everything about him. But for me, I think if we don't get top four, I'm just going back on David Hare. I don't think we get top four. I think David Hare will be gone. I think genuinely that's it. He's had enough for the club, because when you getting compared to Courtois and Neuer, and you've got a back four of Phil Jones, Smalling, Luke Shaw, and Raphael, you must be doing something right. Because at Barcelona, you've got Boateng, Dante, Lahm, you've got players, Alaba, you've got players like that. So you're never going to really be that tested. When David Hare has been amazing, I think for me he's the world's best keeper, and he will always be that until if hopefully something bad doesn't happen to him. But an injury that could keep him out for a long time. But yeah, as I was saying, Memphis Depay for me, that's the only player I really strengthen the midfield with.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good praise for him. I haven't seen a lot of him play. I think I saw him a little bit in the World Cup, but apart from that, I haven't seen a lot of him play. But he would definitely be decent on the wing. I mean, we've obviously played Ashley Young quite a lot of lately, and he hasn't done too bad. But obviously, he's not a world class player. I mean, our wingers have lacked. I mean, obviously Nani's gone, and I can't see Nani coming back. He was always hit and miss. I mean, if he could have played at the top of his game 90% of the time, we would have had a world-class player on our hands there. I think he just never fulfilled his full potential. Uh, Obviously, there's another player that we've been linked a lot with, which is Gareth Bale. Personally, I think I would probably go for that cheaper option than Gareth Bale, because for about 70 or 80 million, I think it's a lot of money. Although if David De Gea goes, we're probably going to have to get something as part exchange, aren't we, to make the deal worthwhile? Because we're not going to get what we want for David De Gea, are we? I mean, Bale is a quality player and would improve our team on the wing, but obviously we'd have to see if Di Maria left, wouldn't we, before bringing Gareth Bale in.
Yeah, definitely. I think, if Di Maria does, I don't see him leaving, but if he does somehow, want to go to PSG or somewhere like that, then fair enough, let him be, because I think there are better wingers. I know that's pretty harsh to say, because he is probably one of the world's best, but this season has been cutting it. I'd like to see him give him more time, because I think a player of that calibre doesn't go off in one season, does he? So, he was man of the match in Champions League final. That speaks volumes itself, and he was very good player in the World Cup. But for me, as just going back onto Memphis Depay and Gareth Bale. I think for me, Gareth Bale's a quality player. The abuse he gets in Real Madrid, he doesn't deserve it, because apparently after El Clasico his car got attacked. So I think that's pretty poor from Real Madrid fans. They're spoiled. They don't know what actual good footballers are when they'll probably miss Gareth Bale once he does leave. Because for me, if I was Gareth Bale, I'll be out the door after the El Clasico. I would drive myself back to England if I was Gareth Bale, because the abuse he's getting is unreal. Even on social media, he's getting a lot of abuse. So I think it's unfair to say that. But Memphis Depay, I think he's a better option. I know it is harsh to say because Gareth Bale's Gareth Bale, but I think he's about quoted 20-30 mil. Gareth Bale's 70-80 mil. So I think everyone will choose Memphis Depay.
Yeah, definitely. If it's a lot cheaper option, so yeah, I'd definitely go from there. I think the abuse that Gareth Bale's got is terrible. I mean, he's still a quality player, and Manchester United would never do that to the players. I mean, we haven't done that to Di Maria this season. Whether Di Maria does stay or not, it's up to debate. But as with the Gareth Bale thing as well, I mean, it's only PSG would probably take Di Maria, whereas I mean Gareth Bale, there's not many clubs, probably maybe Chelsea could buy him, and if Manchester City have got the problem with the fair play, financial fair play, so you'd have to take that into consideration. So there's probably only 3 clubs that could possibly sign Gareth Bale if he chooses to leave, maybe 4 if he goes to PSG, but somehow I would think he'll probably come back to England, and it would probably be a battle between ourselves and probably Chelsea. I mean, further forward, obviously we've got a lot of number 10 players that can play number 10, so we should be all right in that position. I mean, Januzaj can play there. Whether he stays or goes, we'll have to see. And we can play Rooney in number 10, and obviously Fellaini in number 10, and Juan Mata at number 10. So, I mean, we've got enough players for that sort of position, haven't we? So, I mean, it's the actual out-and-out striker that we need, probably another one, if Robin Van Persie or Radamel Falcao decide to leave. And I'm not sure what's happening with James Wilson yet. There has been talk of him possibly going out on loan. So, I mean, if 2 or 3 of them leave, we're going to have to get at least one more striker in, aren't we? I mean, not too many people seem bothered about us getting a new striker, but I mean, we haven't actually scored that many goals this season, so that's going to have to improve next season, surely.
Yeah, definitely. I think, James Wilson, apparently he is injured, and that's why he hasn't really been, involved in training that much. So fair enough, James Wilson. But if it is, as you said, he might be going on loan. If that's the case, I'd rather see him playing instead of Falcao and on the bench. I'd rather see James Wilson because he's one of our youth products. In the case of Van Persie, for me, I'll never forget what he did at United. He won us a league 20th league title. I think that's an amazing achievement. You know, he didn't do it by himself, but he played a crucial part in that. I'll never forget that. But I think it is time for him to go to maybe America, or you know, a lower team in like a not as good as division, because I think for me he doesn't have the pace and the hunger anymore to play in the Premier League, because in the Premier League he's getting out-muscled against players against Leicester. He got out-muscled against West Morgan. He got out-muscled even against Burnley, so it speaks volumes itself. And for me, I'd like to see him, you know, maybe start as a rotation player. I don't really mind that if he does stay, but he's on I think he's about £200,000 a week, so no one will really want to pay that much for a player that isn't performing. Same thing with Falcao, you know, he's on £300,000 a week and he's only scored four goals in 22 appearances. And Chris Smalling scored 5 goals this season, so it speaks volumes itself. If Smalling's getting more goals than you, then you have to be worried. But for me, I'd like to see, you know, there's been talk about Edison Cavani last season. For me, I think he would cost way too much, and his wages are a bomb as well. So, you know, I think probably give that a pass. But the one that stands out for me is Lacazette, because that guy can play wherever you put him, even in the right wing, left wing. His main position is striker, but he can also play cam as well. So for me, he's a very versatile player, and that's why Lou Van Gaal went for Daley Blind. So that's maybe why he goes for Lacazette. And you know, even Memphis Depay can play striker. He's not obviously not his preferred position. His left wing is his preferred position, but he can do a job up front. So for me, I would like to see Van Persie gone. If he is kept there, maybe as a rotation player. We're all forgetting about Wayne Rooney, because I don't know if Lou Van Gaal, if he wants to stick with this 4-3-3 next season. If that is the case, I don't think we have to be worried about a striker that much, because if Rooney's playing up top, he's scoring a lot of goals. He's working better for the team. So for me, I don't really see it as a big concern. But if we do change to 2 up front, then I'd like to see bringing in Lacazette or another couple of youngsters, maybe James Wilson, give us a chance as a rotation player. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. As you said there, Lacazette is one of the sort of players I would probably like to see come in. I wouldn't like to see Edison Cavani come in now. I think, I mean, he has scored his fair share of goals over the years, but I think for the fee that he would cost and the wages, I just don't think it would be a very good deal. I don't know if there's any other players you want to see coming in to Manchester United in the summer or leaving. I mean, I don't think there's any other players I'd really. I mean, we may pull some shock deals. I mean, I never saw the Falcao coming in last summer. I never saw that happening. I was really shocked about that. I don't know if you think of any others that could maybe shocks or anything that could happen in the summer. But we've obviously been linked with a whole host of players, so there could be a whole host of other players that could possibly come in that we haven't even discussed.
Yeah, definitely. I think, you know, just going back on Falcao, I think if Falcao doesn't stay, I genuinely believe that he will go and tear it up in another league such as La Liga. Even he might go to, you know, speak of him going to Liverpool, sorry. And there's been vines and that of him crying and reacting to the news. But for me, I'd like to see him given the chance at United. I wouldn't pay 42 mil. I think that's way too much. But yeah, Edison Cavani, his wages are a lot. Also, you know, as a player I've seen from Borussia Dortmund, I think his name's Marcus Ginter or something like that, a centre back. He's young, he was talented. You know, he's got a lot of potential for playing as centre back, and I think he could be another leader for Germany, because he is German. He's got Matt Hummels next to him. He's also got I think it's Sokrates in Borussia Dortmund. But yeah, I think Matt Hummels is mainly the main priority for us this season, because if we don't get him, we'll be looking at Rafael Varane, and if we don't get him, there's a real concern at United, and maybe Otamendi as well, because you know, I think we did have a bid rejected from about £35 million. So yeah, maybe Otamendi, Matt Hummels, Pogba. I think they're the main ones for me.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have to see what happens with the Falcao. I just hope that he doesn't go to another English club and starts banging the goals in if he plays on a regular basis, because at a club like Liverpool there is a good chance that he could play week in, week out, because they've got obviously injury problems with Daniel Sturridge, and then after you take him out there is actually no strikers really at Liverpool, so he could play every week. Do you want to just tell everyone where they can find you on Twitter and YouTube?
Yeah, I've got a Twitter. My Twitter account is the United Man _MU, and also got a YouTube channel, the United Man, and also we did a video on my channel talking about top 4, and yeah.
Yeah, I'll put the link to that video in the description box below, so make sure to go over there and subscribe and check out the video that we've done talking about our chances of finishing in the top 4 and where we're going to finish. Thanks for everyone for watching, and we will talk to you all again very, very soon.